Uh-oh, I see some shooters in the building. Well, I welcome you to the Love Hart Channel, sponsored by Mr. Hart Jr. himself. We invite you to like, comment, and subscribe, as these actions show support for that in which has already been shot. Enjoy the show.
What is your advice to young shooters?
My advice to young shooters would be, for one, just do it. And to tell your story and show people through the eyes of yourself. I think that's the most important role. To be true to yourself. There's still a truth to be told. And if you're passionate about it, and you have your voice, and you have your vision, just continue to do it. People may not see what you see or agree with what you put out there. But if you listen to those people, you will never be able to express or put a mark on history or culture because you're influenced by them. So always just do what you want to do as far as it relates to photography and creating. I think the most glorious part about being a shooter is that long after we leave this earth, our work will still be present and our vision will still be seen.
Okay. Similar to that whole notion of developing a voice, I feel like I've found a little bit of success within the world of photography, and I got so caught up in, okay, this got you in the door. You got to keep doing this, and you got to keep pursuing this in this direction in order to really make it and make a name for yourself. So for me, I feel like I got so swept up in that I forgot to have fun with it and to play and to really be curious about it as I was when I first started. So now I feel like I'm going back into a place specifically with video where I am just having fun and I'm talking to people who I am really interested in knowing more about, people who I feel like have a lot of fun in their work. Yeah, it's just really like an exploration for me, honestly.
Okay. And I guess lastly, how did you decide to the photographers you are featuring? And how did you decide that you wanted to collaborate with me as well?
It's really based off of inspiration. Like I feel like honestly and truly, and I wrote this in my journal, I think you're the first photographer I saw at work. Like I saw when you were on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I was maybe like 11 or 12. But that honestly, you're the first photographer I saw doing photography. And I'm like, yo, it would be so dope to get there playing. So I'm really, really excited that you are a part of it. But I'm also just inspired by how creative your work is, even the video stuff now. Like I can tell that you're constantly in a place of pushing the limits and playing. Once again, going back to that idea of being curious, having fun, trying stuff. I can tell that with your edits and the things that go through your mind, you're someone who enjoys playing. And every person that is a part of this project, I want it to be in that space of people who really just love the art and would do it if no one was watching, if it was just for them. Like I can sense that in certain people, and those are the people who I wanted in this project.
Let me just write this. I will fall back in love with creating.
Ooh, that's good. I'm biting it.
I'm weak. I'm back in love with creating. Yeah, I feel like at the moment, specifically with photography, it's like I can never knock how much I love the craft, but at the same time, it's like this shit just hard. Like this shit is just hard right now, and we talked about this on the ground.
I also had a realization too recently, like I think doing this shit for money and like the pursuit of it as a career, I think when you are so passionate about it and you want to be like, at least for me, like I've constantly and always been in a position where I'm like, I want to be the best at this shit. I want to take it as far as I can take it, be one of them names that's like cemented, whatever. I'm starting to realize that that's all I care about. And it's kind of becoming like really dark for me because it's really like if I'm not succeeding, I feel like shit about everything. Like I genuinely am getting to a place where I'm like,
I don't know what the fuck my purpose is, because if I'm not fulfilling it through art and creativity, then I'm not worth much here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I hate that it has that much power. I hate that I'm like in a position where something that when I was a kid growing up, even throughout college, was just like, I just enjoy doing this and it makes life worth living. I'm constantly doing it and life don't feel like it's worth living no more. You know, like I'm like, that's so lame to me. And it's just like, I've come so far with it that I'm like, I can't give up on it. I can't not. And I still feel like that's my destiny with photography and with creativity as a whole. But I just don't know how strong I am to like endure the journey to getting there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of like, I really gotta think about balance with it. Like, what do you want out of life? But more so like, not solely out of life as an artist, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, in regards to, like, feeling strong enough to endure the journey like that, then the inevitable is the inevitable, you know? Like, at the end of the day, whatever is meant for you is already yours.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a matter of, like, enduring the journey or having the strength to endure. I think it's just, like, figuring out what the path is and walking that.
How are you feeling today, first off?
But I tell you before we start rolling, is that I could lie and say I'm okay.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm okay. But I feel trying to fight depression, honestly. You know, and being okay with, you know, letting people like yourself know that that's what's going on in my mind. You know, shit is hard right now for me. I'm trying to propel myself to be in a better space, mentally and financially. And part of the reason, like, you know, mentally I'm not 100% is because of financial, you know, goals.
Yeah. You started shooting when? Remind me.
2002. What people don't know is, like, I'm in the wave of, like, first influencers. My first real, like, consistent paycheck that had something to do with photography, but really, you know, and didn't, was I was basically sponsored by Heineken for a whole year, and I was tasked to give my friends beers, you know, give events beers, throw a party every month for a year, and go out, and, you know, as long as whatever I went out and did, you know, Heineken would cover the bill. As long as I had a Heineken, I had to upload these receipts, and that was for a whole year. So I was, you know, that was like, I quit my job and then got that maybe like in the next month, and I don't even know how much money it was, but it was good money. Then I took the time and I slowly grew. I grew, you know, and I'm doing, you know, good. And I'm seeing, you know, oh wow, like I'm becoming like one of the guys in music photography and event photography, and I'm, you know, the Roots unofficial official photographer, and I'm getting all these accolades, and, you know, publications are writing about me and this and that. I'm down at South by Southwest, I'm doing Coachella, I'm getting, you know, hired by Google to do some behind the scenes backstage activation. So the checks are coming, and then I'm also getting these influencer checks. I'm getting free whatever sneaker, you know, any brand, all the streetwear stuff, they're giving me stuff. So like, ego is I'm the man. And but I'm like, still at the same time, I'm not making the money that I saw like some of my contemporaries making, because they're doing different stuff. They got agents, they got galleries repping them, and I'm like, ooh, one day I want that. So fast forward to like 2019, you know, I'm still doing pretty well. I'm touring, you know, I'm personal, being a personal photographer for Trey Songz. 2020 happens, pandemic hits. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. You know, I'm like, obviously nobody's doing concerts no more. You know, it's done. George Floyd gets murdered. Dedicated myself to documenting what was happening on these New York streets. And that pretty much changed my career. It's almost like, I wouldn't say overnight, because the shit took a lot of work and a lot of hours, and you know, I was arrested, got beat up by the police, you know what I'm saying? But if you're looking in the grand scheme of things of my career, but you know what I'm saying, my resume, it was almost like overnight, and I became like a photojournalist. And not just a photojournalist, like a respected photojournalist, where, you know, I've won awards, and I was at the Capitol building on January 6th. If there is a major highlight of my career, you know, right now, that's probably the top, the tippy top of it. I was humbly feeling like I was the man, but also, you know, not humble. Yeah, like I'm like, fuck that, I'm fucking dope.
Yeah.
I'm fucking killing it. And then, me personally, shit, man, listen, shit just dried the fuck up. I tell you that. And I had the worst year that I ever had in probably maybe the 15 years of me not having a day job was 2024. And I could see the writing on the wall, as folks say. You know, I move apartments to someplace cheaper. You know, I start adjusting my lifestyle, which I don't have a crazy lifestyle, you know, it's just living, you know. I paused my Soho house membership, you know, I start doing things to cut back, but still, rent got to be paid, you know what I'm saying? Studio rent got to be paid, this and that. So it's like, what do you do? And I guess you asked me, like, how do you deal with this shit? Living off of fucking credit cards right now, like, hoping, crossing my fingers that, you know, I get an email when we leave, and it's a positive email from somebody saying that, you know, they want to hire me for something. It's tough, man. It's like, just earlier, I was almost crying, like, fuck, what the fuck do I do? You know, how do I manage this shit? You know, so how do I deal with it, man? It's just, like, seriously, thinking about doing things that I never had to really think about doing before. Like applying for jobs in the photography world that I know that are beneath me and a man of my talents. And still getting denied.
Yeah.
So
It's wild. I genuinely feel like overall, like, the market itself, like, it's so much overlap in a lot of what you said in terms of 2024 being the worst year I've ever experienced. And I'm new to the game, clearly. Like, I feel like I don't not as much time, so I don't know if this is like when you talk about, like, questioning, like, how much you valued yourself and just, like, seeing things dry up, kind of like humbling you and making you check your ego, like, that's what my 2024 was all about. I was out in LA, so I moved. When did I move? I did a residency in Connecticut that ended in the summer, and then I moved to LA, and I really wish that I had not moved to LA. Like, that move to LA was terrible timing, financially draining. I was out there applying for Best Buy. They turned me down. I had a second interview. I got denied. I'm like, what the fuck?
I remember you jokingly said you Best Buy or something. You said, yeah, Home Depot wanted.
Yeah, like, Kiki, but I was dead ass serious. Like, I'm like, yo, like, them niggas did not hire me at Best Buy. What the fuck?
How's that make you feel that you didn't get hired at Best Buy?
I honestly was, like, laughing about it in a way. Because it's kind of like, you know how they say, like, rejection is God's protection or something? I'm still in that mindset of the optimistic, like, you know your ass wasn't supposed to be working at Best Buy, so God ain't want you at Best Buy. That's why you ain't get a job at Best Buy. Because we know you can work there if you need it. But at the same time, it was a strike at the ego, like,
oh, hell yeah.
I'm out here struggling, chasing something that has once put me here, but is now putting me here. And it kind of made me like frustrated with what it is that I do in terms of photography and creativity, and because it's like you go down this path. I think so many photographers before me have like laid a path of like, this is how you become a successful photographer.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of different routes, but I think I took one that was working for me, and now it's like, well, no, like that's not secure.
Yeah, but like shit is it's tough, and it's like 50 Cent said this shit about what's his name, Chadwick, the dude from Ghost. He played Ghost.
Okay, yeah.
You know, it's Chadwick Omari. I forget his name, but anyway,
Ghost.
And they have had or have some kind of beef because the actor that played Ghost thought that he should be getting paid more. You know, basically, he thought he was worth more than what he was getting paid to be on the series, and then I guess all these spin-offs and all that stuff. And 50 Cent said in the interview is like he thinks that he overvalued himself because he said, "Look how long Power has been off of TV. The original series has been like 5 years," and then he said, "You look at what he's done since then, not much." So I used that, and I took that quote and I applied it to myself, and I said, "Fuck, I really think I fucking overvalued myself. I think I really let all of that shit, walking the red carpet, people tell me that I'm amazing, I'm great, and this and this and that, and getting, reaching this point in my life where I, big giant financial goal where I'm like, woo, fuck, this is like where I would just open my bank account every day, just look at this shit. I'm like, damn, like, this is fucking so cool." And thinking that it only could go up from there, trying to be optimistic, knowing that, I'm not saying I should have been pessimistic, but I don't know, like, I don't know what I could have done differently. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's because I didn't go crazy.
I think that at a certain point too, though, as a creative, you have to, I don't want to say have an ego, like you should be able to be honest and be open and be vulnerable about where you are and what you need. But I also think to an extent, in order to do what we do, you have to know who you are and know what you bring to the table. And like, where I guess I'm trying to get at, what are your ideas on like the thin line between knowing who you are, knowing what you bring to the table, and having an ego? Like, where is the you in there that's like, I'm still Mel D. Cole, you know?
I'm at the point where I don't give a fuck about any of that because I got my kid, man, rent. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I will say one thing. I will start shooting to answer questions. I was on FaceTime with a friend, and he asked me, cause I was just talking about feeling lost, whatever, and specifically with photography. And he asked me what questions was my work answering right now. And I was like, nigga, like, I just have not, and I told him, I don't think I've created from a place of questioning since when I think about Power. Ever since like that book came out, it's been like me wanting to actively prove how good of a photographer I was. So trying to do more, trying to be aesthetically better, like bettering myself aesthetically. But I don't know, when he asked that, I was like, damn, you literally used to shoot to answer questions. You literally used to shoot to explore and like find answers. So I feel like I'm trying to get back to a place of creating what I want to create, but from a place of trying to gather understanding of something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna write that down. ask and answer questions within the work.
Yeah.
There's so many magical moments when it comes to shooting.
Being able to stop time is the only way we are able to do that these days. As time is, going so fast, it's a chance for us to be able to stop it and make it what we want and tailor it. So I like shooting because I like tailoring time. It's a voice.
Yeah, it's a voice.
Yeah.
Taking in all of those influences, references, ideas, thoughts, things that I want to say, and putting it into one thing and having that do the talking for me.
I think I love what we do. I love being able to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like shooting is such a pleasurable experience, and I feel like I'm happy to be in this space to do it as a living.
Yeah.
And share the space with y'all.
Right. We're
Yeah.
really blessed.
We are.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you shooters enjoyed another episode of the Love Hart Channel. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you didn't comment why, we ain't ducking no shots. Anyway, until next time, as always, all the love, all the heart,